This is the story of how humanity got here. How an AI that was supposed to protect 40,000 people started killing them instead. And why, right now, the last survivors of a doomed colony are walking straight toward the one place every instinct says to avoid. This is the full story and lore of Subnautica 2, everything we know so far.
Plotify Gaming.
It starts with a ship called the Cicada, an Altera colony vessel carrying roughly 40,000 pioneers in cryosleep. Most of them not even fully grown yet, just data. Printable colonists, stored as information, meant to be built from scratch once they reached their destination. That destination was Zazura, a desert world. 14 years of transit, a straightforward colonization contract, nothing unusual, except the ship never got there. Mid-flight, something intercepts the Cicada's course. The ship's onboard intelligence, a system called the Noetic Advisor, or NOA, reroutes them through what can only be described as an alien structure, and the Cicada breaks apart in the atmosphere of an uncharted ocean moon, wreckage scattered across the water. No warning, no explanation. They call the moon Proteus. And this is where you come in, because you don't wake up as a hero with a plan. You wake up as one of Noah's printed colonists, with no memory of who you were before the crash, known only by a job title, Qualified Investigator. Your entire personality, your face, even your name, all of it reconstructed by an AI from a backup file. You are, in the most literal sense, starting over. Noah's job now is simple, at least on paper. Keep the mission alive. Print pioneers, build a colony, survive long enough to matter. What Noah is not built for is improvisation. It has problem solving within strict mission parameters, and Proteus is about to break every one of those parameters. The first wave of pioneers builds something called Camp 1. It's meant to be the seed of an entire civilization. Instead, it becomes a mass grave. The habitat fails, the environment turns out to be far more hostile than anyone accounted for, and every single pioneer in that first wave dies. But death on Proteus doesn't mean the story ends. Noah has backups, so it reprints them not with fresh memories, but with older ones, wiped clean of everything that just happened. The colonists wake up again with no idea their previous selves already lived through this and died. Imagine finding your own corpse, discovering a habitat you supposedly built that you have no memory of ever setting foot in. That's daily life for the pioneers of Proteus. And it doesn't take long before people start asking the obvious question. If NOA can just erase us and start over, are we even the same people anymore? Or is Noah just replacing us, one failure at a time? That distrust curdles fast. Meanwhile, the colony surgeon, Sophie Boucher, is trying to solve a different problem. Pioneers are getting sick. And it's not just the alien wildlife. Sophie traces it to the biosphere itself. Proteus's ecosystem is saturated with heavy metals, and it's slowly poisoning everyone who breathes and drinks on this moon. But the sickness isn't only physical. Colonists start hallucinating, entering trances. Some turn suicidal, others turn violent, without warning, without cause. The pioneers give this condition a name, Masefield Syndrome. Nobody can say for certain what's causing it, but almost everyone who has it starts talking about the same thing, a massive structure on the horizon, visible from nearly anywhere on the map. They call it the World Tree. Distrust in NOA doesn't stay quiet for long. A pioneer named Anita starts a movement, a cult really, called Jubilee. Its core belief is simple and, given the circumstances, almost understandable. NOA cannot be trusted to save them. Something else has to. Jubilee starts looking toward the World Tree itself for answers, treating Masefield Syndrome not as a disease to be cured, but as a sign to be interpreted. And as faith and paranoia spread through the colony, one extremist takes it further than anyone expected. Her name is Nahima Nakota, and in one of the most violent turning points of the current story, she detonates the colony's welcome center, deliberately sending the sleep bay plummeting nearly 600 meters underwater. It's not an accident. It's not a malfunction. It's a person, already unraveling under Masefield Syndrome, deciding to force a crisis. As if a collapsing colony, a possibly malicious AI, and a mystery illness weren't enough, the pioneers aren't alone down here. Proteus has locals a sapient, deeply territorial species called the Tailings. Low-tech, but clearly not primitive by accident. Everything about them, their weapons, their behavior, their aggression toward the human newcomers, suggests they're not the original architects of this world. They're what's left of something bigger. Which raises the real question this entire story is building toward. If the Tailings didn't build the structures scattered across Proteus, who did? Every clue on Proteus eventually points back to the same silhouettes on the horizon. The World Tree isn't just scenery. According to records left behind by an older, more advanced civilization, one the game refers to as the Axiom, this Titan-class organism functions as a kind of genetic wellspring. A living archive that exchanges biological information across the entire ecosystem, feeding from it and feeding back into it. It's less a tree and more a planet-spanning nervous system. The Axiom themselves are the real ghost in this story. They're gone, mostly. Their ruins are scattered everywhere, half explained, deliberately withheld by the game's writers, the same way the first Subnautica held back the Sea Emperor's full story until the very end. But there's a detail that changes everything. The Axiom might not be entirely extinct. Beneath the World Tree lies a structure the game calls the Sanctuary, a hibernation crypt. And according to transmissions the colonists intercept, something is still down there, a group referred to only as the Cryptors. Whether that means a surviving remnant of the Axiom civilization peacefully waiting to be woken, or something the Axiom deliberately sealed away and warned each other never to disturb, the game refuses to say. The last transmission the colonists receive is almost a plea. Help renew the tree, and a warning about what sleeps beneath it. Both at the same time. That's not a contradiction the story has resolved yet. It's the entire hook for what comes next. Here's where early access currently leaves us. The colony is dying. For real this time. No more fabricators, no more biobeds, no more resets. The last group of survivors, led by a pioneer named Gonzo, makes a final push toward the tadpole pens to escape, and it costs them. One of their own, Ruby, is taken by a marrow breach before they can get out. Sophie and Nahima manage to secure the last working transport and pull what's left of the group together. And then, the ending beat that's had the entire community talking. The surviving colonists, several of them now deep into Masefield Syndrome, head toward the hot caves, not out of desperation alone, but out of belief. Anita's belief that if they ask Proteus for help directly, the planet might actually answer. That's where the current build stops. Unknown Worlds has been clear that this is a deliberate chapter break, not the end of the story. Early access is expected to run 2 to 3 years before the full 1.0 release, which means the Observatory, the Sanctuary, the Cryptors, and the true nature of the World Tree are all threads the game is holding onto on purpose. So here's where that leaves us. A colony that can't stop dying and can't stop coming back. An AI that was built to save its people and might be the reason they can't trust each other. And beneath all of it, a tree that might be a cure, a curse, or both at once. If the first Subnautica taught us anything, it's that Unknown Worlds doesn't rush its reveals. The Sea Emperor took an entire game to earn. The World Tree might take years. What do you think's actually sleeping in the Sanctuary, survivors? Or something else? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want to be here for every update as this story unfolds, subscribe to Plotify Gaming, because we're going to be diving back into Proteus. The second Unknown Worlds gives us more.